So you're just starting out as a paranormal investigator and want to know what basic equipment to buy without breaking the bank. We've got the best paranormal equipment for the beginning ghost hunter coming up next. Welcome to Haunted Road Media. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. Explore with us. So you want to investigate the paranormal, you want to ghost hunt, but you don't want to spend a ton of money on a bunch of fancy equipment. I've been involved with the paranormal in some way, shape, or form since 1990, and our current team, Society of the Haunted, was founded back in 2011, so I'm speaking from my own experience. Just recently on our full equipment video, Gabby B asked, would you consider doing one with the absolute necessities and cheaper for beginners? We've got you covered in this video, and what I'll do is I'll give you some basic idea about price and put links below in the description to those items. What I'll also do is I'll give you a link here and in the description below to our full equipment video so you can see everything we have. Alright, first up, and I'll save the best for last, is the flashlight. Now, I know it's a very basic item, but it's also a very necessary item. And I don't mean from the perspective of the people that do the flashlight trick. I really don't adhere to that one. A lot of people like it. I don't particularly. But flashlight for safety. I've heard of people walking around in these different haunted locations, abandoned sites without a flashlight, and they get hurt. And some people are trying to be tough, trying to be gung-ho, like, oh, I don't need a flashlight. But really, it's a safety item. You need to be able to find your way around these different locations and places, and you might be able to feel your way around a little bit with your hands, but you know, a lot of these locations, there's holes in the floors, soft spots, stairs that you could fall down. It's very, very dangerous to not be walking around with a flashlight. So this is like #1 safety item right here. And the light just went out. So your flashlight, and I do have another one here, you know, it will cost you about $5, $10, maybe $15 for a higher end flashlight. You know, pretty affordable. You don't have to break the bank for a flashlight. It's a very necessary safety item. So, you know, not very costly at all for a very necessary safety item. Then there's the very underrated item of the notebook. Yeah, I'm serious, a notepad and a pen. A lot of people really don't do this, but jot down notes during your investigation. You know, if there's something going on, note the time, note the room that it happened, note exactly what happened, note your experience. You might think, oh, I'll remember when that was, where that was, maybe you're recording some audio and you'll timestamp it or whatever, but things happen, glitches happen, you never know. Also, if you're interviewing someone, take some notes. Yeah, you might be recording it off on the side, but there are different things that'll come to mind while you're doing that interview, and you jot those things down. You might be interviewing somebody from a historic location, a docent, a tour guide. If it's a residential case, you'll be interviewing the homeowners. Take some notes, and even with you on the investigation, take it with you, jot some things down that are going on while you're actually investigating. And you know, notepad and pen, we're talking a couple of bucks. Now we'll start moving into the items that are a little bit higher priced, and we'll start with the digital audio recorder. I love trying to capture EVPs to work with that spirit communication. Mine is a Sony. So it cost me around $50, but to me it's absolutely essential. You're trying to communicate with these spirits. So what better way than to try to actually capture that onto audio? You may not be able to hear a response with your own ears like a disembodied voice, but you can always go back over digital audio and listen to it later. So I want to make sure it has an output port to USB so that I can download it to the computer so I can listen back to it later, put some big headphones on and really get in depth into what I've actually heard on this. Now, the other thing in my hand along with this is a little side item. Cost me, I think it was about 10 or 15 bucks for this. I got this so long ago, but it was a perfect little way to be able to secure this, because I was having all kinds of issues with this, like sticking it on my belt and things like that. You'd hear movement. So this little thing, which is basically an old school MP3 device holder, I just cut a hole in the top of it there so I could poke the audio recorder through, zip it up, and then I just stick it on my arm like that, and then you don't hear the rustling of all the clothes with that. There are a lot of different varieties. You don't have to get the Sony. There are some that have all kinds of different features that are a lot more expensive, and there's some others that are a little less expensive, but make sure it has some of the different things you want, like that output port. Then there's the digital camera. You can pick up a basic one for $50 to $100 just to get some photos. It might have some features on there to capture a little video if you're trying to capture some video. This, I'm using a Canon SL2. I haven't had a smaller digital camera for a while, but if you're just looking for the basics, you can buy a basic digital camera, and that will work perfectly for quite a while until you work your way up, and in case you want to do something more. Like I said, photos, fantastic. Take photos all over the place, inside, outside the building. You want to capture what things look like around the location, because things may move around during the investigation that you might not be aware of, or maybe there's something when you're reviewing evidence, you're wondering, where was that originally, or what was there that I could have run into if you're listening back to audio, and those photos may show you. And then also, of course, you're gonna wanna get some outside shots as well. Now, I don't necessarily have a specific kind of digital camera that I can recommend. There's a lot of different varieties. I'm using a higher end camera right now. I haven't used one of those for a while, but you can do some shopping and pick up something that you think is really appropriate for you. Now, some people are gonna say this is sacrilege. But I'm gonna tell you right now that if you really wanna cut back on breaking the bank and keep it really inexpensive, for everything that I've already said so far, you can use your phone. Absolutely, you can use your phone. Now, people will say, well, that will compromise the investigation. Well, just put it on airplane mode so that there's no data transfer. In a lot of our videos, you'll see that Shauna's actually holding her phone. Well, she doesn't have an actual phone plan connected to it. There's no data transfer anyway. And a lot of times she'll put it into airplane mode just to make sure she uses it, well, as a camera. It also can be used as a flashlight. You can also take notes on this. You can also record audio on this. So everything that I just said, you can do right on your phone if you really want to keep it inexpensive. That is, of course, if you have a smartphone, but most people do these days, and you just get the appropriate apps. Now, I don't use any of the ghost hunting apps or ghost box apps or anything like that with the phone. I really don't believe in them at all, coming from a computer programming background like I do. We have an entire video on that if you want to see my opinion on that. Now, a basic EMF detector, that's an electromagnetic field detector. Got the K2. I also have the Melmeter up here. That's a bit pricier, has a lot more features, just something basic. That's the K2. And I got this years ago for about $40 or $45. And what it will help you do is to see if there's any electromagnetic activity going on at the time. If you watch the beginning of our part 2 of the 518 South video, you'll see that I was doing a just basic scan of the area with the K2, because every time I went upstairs, I kept feeling this buzzing sensation. And so I've been at locations before where I'm getting that sensation, and it's because there's a high electromagnetic field within that room or within that building. And so this will give you, just kind of a basic reading that yes, there's an electromagnetic field here. In that particular video with 518 South, there actually wasn't, so it made us wonder what may have been going on there. So, basic item. People do try to use it for spirit communication, and I've had that happen before, but it's difficult. This is kind of like maybe an extra item you might pick up, as far as like a basic kit. It's not an absolute, but it's nice to have around. So the best low-cost tool that you can bring on a paranormal investigation is your body. Your body is actually your best tool on a paranormal investigation. Now, there's a lot of people that don't believe in the whole sensitive side of it, but it's a legit thing. You think of those moments in which your body's just alert suddenly to some kind of danger. That's kind of what we're talking about. In these cases, your body suddenly becomes alert to something paranormal going on in the area. There's some sort of spirit activity going on. We just did an entire Inside the Upside Down live stream show on this, which I'll also go ahead and link here for you. And we get in depth into how all of that works and how we're able to perceive these different things on investigations. Pay attention to your body and what your body is telling you, what your senses are telling you. be smart about things and note what your perception is about the location that you're at. Trust your instincts. Couple of quick tips about investigating. First off, wherever you're going, get permission. Now, it already may be set up going to somebody's house. You're in there, you've got their permission. You're doing a historic haunt. You're in there, you have their permission, you sign the waiver form, all of that stuff. But there's a lot of locations around that might be abandoned or might be on private property that you may be really tempted to go to. Well, it's kind of illegal to do that. Get permission first before you just go walking on in there. Also, for the first time investigator, I would recommend latching onto a reputable local team for a little while. Learn the ropes from people who have been doing this for a while. What you see on TV is not really what happens. So learn what really happens from somebody who's been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years and has a good reputation in your area for doing paranormal investigations. I'll go ahead and link our video on our full range of paranormal equipment off to the side over here. And also we have an entire playlist on Ghost Hunting 101 and learning the ropes of being a paranormal investigator. I'll link that over here as well. I'm Mike Ricksecker from Hunter Road Media. Till next time.